my friends, hello and welcome back to my channel. It is Carrie from Coffee and Crafts, and today we are doing an art haul. So I did a little shopping. Alright, so what do we have here? I picked up Artix Metallic 12-pack acrylic markers. That's a mouthful. So we're gonna try those out, and then I also picked up the 12-pack pastel set of Staedtler Pitt pens. They're kind of like, they're water-based, but they also have an India ink, so I'm thinking they might be like the Derwent Inktense pencils. Maybe, sorta, kinda, maybe, but not really. So we're gonna try those out. And then I also have Ohuhu's, can't see their logo, but Ohuhu's glitter marker pack. So this is a 12 set. I don't know if it's 12 individual colors. These two blues look really close to the same thing. And last but not least, I picked up a set of the Jelly Roll Stardust. I'm fairly new to Jelly Roll, so I'm excited to try out this particular brand. Sakura, from my understanding, is the company that actually invented jelly rolls, invented gel pens. So that'll be interesting to try out. So as I mentioned, we are going to be swatching these today. So we need something to swatch them in, right? Okay, so let's pick all this up after I spent all that time organizing. Get this out of our way. Okay, the other thing that I picked up that I'm really excited about is this notebook. It's from Primrosia. Not sure if I'm saying that right. It's a dot grid watercolor notebook. So the brand name is Primrosia, and it's a dot grid watercolor notebook. Primrosia notebooks are handmade using premium heavy 160 GSM. If you don't know what GSM is, usually like Electrum is like 90 GSM or maybe 80, maybe even 70 or 60. It's pretty thin. So 160 is really thick, and it is actually watercolor paper. Suitable for use with our, they have a line of markers and watercolor paints. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. More shopping to do. Use as a journal, planner, diary, or sketchbook with a subtle printed 5mm grid to help plan your pages. So what I really wanted and looked for was a watercolor notebook sketch pad that had a dot grid so that I could use it for swatching and I wouldn't have to worry about drawing in lines, that I could just use the grid to roughly do some swatching. And then also I could use it for my projects. As you start a project, a lot of times you want to swatch out some colors, figure out what you want to use, and so it would be kind of like a brain dump where you kind of trying to figure out what you want to use for it. So we're gonna mess this thing up. There's two different patterns. There's the toucan and a deer. So I went with the toucan. Sadly, they did not have them with a cat on it. That would have been perfect. All right, so it comes in this paper sleeve, which probably we'll get rid of. And then here is the front. Both versions are this green, and the, oops, sorry. The green, the cover is made out of like a linen cloth, but it feels very nice. And then it has this strap to to hold it together, kind of like a Moleskine notebook. And it also has a pen holder. Yeah, so, and it's pretty thick. It's about, I'd say, an inch thick. What do you guys think? About an inch thick? Yeah. So, okay, so let's just talk about one issue that I have. I bet you guys have this too. So, this notebook is so pretty, you guys. It's so pretty. It's got the gold emboss and pretty color. Oh my goodness, so pretty. Okay, so before we open this, I am declaring to you, I am publicly announcing that I am giving myself permission to mess this bad boy up. I have fear of messing up pretty things. And I have some coloring books that I have not touched because they're way too pretty. So I have given myself permission to mess this up because that's why we bought it. We bought it to do swatching and to figure out, you know, make some marks on a page and figure out what colors we want to use. So I am giving myself permission to mess this up. And if I ever complain about messing it up, I want you to tell me in the comments, oh, Carrie, you gave yourself permission. So don't stress about it. Just let it flow. Just let the ink flow. All right, get that over with. I don't know if you know this, but I also gave myself permission to mess up the Lost Ocean. I wanted to experiment with ink, but I didn't want to mess up my notebooks, but I wanted a real experience. So I had ordered this Lost Ocean, and I don't know if you can tell, but it came to me bent, you guys. Look at that, it's horrible. I've tried to unbend it, but it just won't, it won't. So I gave myself permission to mess up the Lost Ocean. And that's why you'll see me doing a lot of ink in this particular book to experiment. For example, I'm experimenting with the crayons that I got in my Happy Mail. So this is my first attempt. Is it perfect? No, but I'm learning how to use them. These are the crayons I'm referring to. They are a Neocolor 2 dupe from iCrayon, and they're not bad. They don't blend as well as the Neocolor 2s. You have to work at it a little bit and kind of use them like a watercolor pencil. Yeah, but I do like them. Will I eventually get Neocolor 2s? Someday. But for now, thanks to one of my loyal subscribers, I get to practice and experiment with these. So we use this book because I've given myself permission to mess it up. All right. So let's take a look at the inside of this. Okay, so you open it up and it's got this pretty pattern on the outside. It has a title, This Book Belongs To. And let me see if I can zoom in so you can see it a little better. I was zoomed out to fit all those pins in the shot. So I don't know if you can tell, but this has a texture. You can definitely tell that this is watercolor paper. You see the groove in there. It's got some sizing. Yeah. So you will turn the page, and sadly the way the binding is, this first page is glued down, but you can pull that out if you're gentle. I'll probably work on that. But this first page and every page after that has this very light dot grid. So if I zoom in, maybe about right there, you can see that it has a dot grid. So that will make it very convenient to do my swatching and write down notes. Yeah, I used to be really into planners, but I just felt that they were too time consuming. So I do have a background in picking out planners, but it's very thick paper. I think that this will hold up for what we want to use it for. And if the paper warps, remember, we gave ourselves permission. All right, so go back to the back, the notebook. All the way even, oh, this back page here does not have a dot grid. So you could use this as a test pen if you feel that you need to. Maybe you're not sure if you want to swatch something or decide what your favorites are. Maybe you could use that page. And it has that nice pattern again. And then it has a little pocket. You could maybe put a little ruler in there, or you could put a pin in there, but that would probably rip. It does have the pin loop here. I don't usually use those, but you could. You could put some stencils in here maybe. Yeah, or maybe some stickies to, like Post-it notes you could put in there maybe. Just some ideas. Okay, so one of the things I struggled with planning with something like this is how do you know where to start your project information and your swatching information? Should we just start from the beginning to the end and let it all mix up together? No. So this is my idea. I'm going to start my project planning in the beginning and then of the book, and then I'm going to do my swatching at the back of the book and work my way to the middle. All right. So we'll start right here.